Hey, Jason here. So, one thing I'd like to talk about is balance and the importance of it. So, we have these two hemispheres in our brain, right? You have the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, and the left hemisphere's it has more masculine properties, and the right hemisphere has more feminine properties. And remove gender from that. Like the right hemisphere's got the care and compassion, empathy, ability to connect, ability to feel emotions, the ability to be creative, the ability to fucking relax. The left hemisphere's like ambition, drive, career focus, solution focused. Here we fucking go. Let's just take a chunk out of this world. Now, I've spent most of my life being like 98% in the left hemisphere. And there's I wouldn't say that was necessarily genetic. That was like experiences, that was the military, that was I had a phase of my life listening to motivational videos 8 hours a day, 4 years. I was carving through things. There's a saying I love, and it's by this fellow called Miyamoto Musashi, and I can't pronounce that surname, but he's this ancient Ronin from like Japan, and he has the book called The Five Rings, and he has this saying: "It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war." I love that saying. So the left hemisphere is kind of like that warrior part. You are preparing for war in the modern day wars, like business or the gym or whatever goals or ambitions you have. The gardener part is like the ability to relax, the ability to enjoy life. So when I was like 98% left, it was fucking war every day. I was doing everything it meant to. I was going to the gym, I was eating clean, I was meditating, functional. I don't know, I just kind of sat there overthinking things. I was doing the work, I was doing everything I had to do to get to where I wanted to go, but life was hell on earth. I wasn't enjoying life. So about 2.5 years ago, I got in contact with a therapeutic coach, and best thing that ever happened to me, without a doubt. I don't think there's anything even close to how awesome that experience has been, and I'm still going. I'm still working with her, and it's kind of put things into perspective. So one of the things I'd like to share with you is like when you're stressed all the time, you can't actually think rationally. Your nervous system's so jacked up that you are just focusing on whatever projects you just fucking go straight line. However, when you chill out and you get into nature, let's say, and you relax a little bit, you're able to actually get perspective. You're able to be like, it's really not that big of a deal. Or, yes, I really want this. Or maybe I don't want this. It allows you to see things from different lenses. And it also allows you to connect with people. When I was, that 98% left hemisphere, I had a few relationships there that were like almost business related. It's like you sign a contract at the start. I will do this and I will provide this. You do this and you provide this. It was a fucking horrible experience for everyone involved. Routine. It was I calculated things to the minute where I had like 15 minutes. All right, 15-minute shower, let's say, which is generous, but 15-minute shower, 15-minute meditation, followed by 15-minute breakfast. It was so regimented that there was no room for error. And when I was in that left hemisphere place, I was just that's it. It was black and white. There is no side. There's only forward. As I've been on my healing journey, I've realized some flexibility is really healthy, and having some self compassion along that journey is really healthy. There isn't as much of a rush in many ways. The reason I'm releasing this video is I threw up that motivational one on Friday just gone, and I'll be damned if I didn't mean every word. But I also had a really hard weekend ahead, and when I have just the amount of productivity required was up there, and the temptation to escape what was required of me was also up there. So when I get into that state, I'll slip right into that left hemisphere, and I'll gung ho. I will just carve through whatever obstacle I need to, because that's how shit kind of gets done. The important part is bringing yourself back, and that's the balance part. Is you can't always stay there. There's burnout eventually. You have to bring some peace into your life. Life isn't always war. I mean, it can be, but it ain't happily ever after. Like There's a guy called David Goggins. I'm sure you all heard of him. I read his book Can't Hurt Me at a crucial point in my life, and it changed my life. You know, his story of like how he was treated through his life, how the childhood and his difficulties growing up, that inspired me. I ain't no bitch, right? That's like his saying. It's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I get along with this. Then you look at his podcasts over the years, and he's still that man. You ask that, like, there was an interview, and it's like, are you happy? He's like, happiness? It's that doesn't look like a really happy life. We have this one time on earth. So finding a balance to work your ass off and do what you've got to do to where you're going, but then also sit in nature, read a book, cook yourself a nice meal, go meet a friend, go do a hobby that's not productive. It's going to really balance you out. Because if you always go, 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 you burn out, you lose more productivity than you ever gained. It takes a long time. So with the masculine and feminine property thing I was speaking of before, I think the ideal is maybe like 50-50. I'm definitely not that. I mean, that's depending on how you look at it, different sources. I think the original guy that was talking about this was like, you know, polarities attract. So if you're like, most guys are 80-20, most women are like 80-20. And then you have like 50-50, and there's like lack of polarity, so lack of sexual connection. And then you have these other ones connected in the middle. And then if you go with that, if you're the most hyper-masculine man ever, you're going to attract the most feminine lady ever, which is just complete chaos, and the man is complete order, and that's the sexual polarity. But I can't imagine that's a really good time. Maybe for some people, but that's not really what I'm after. I'm kind of just after a bit of peace in life, and, you know, do my thing and build my empire on my terms, and just enjoy this journey along the way. So yeah, if you're going through hell and high water right now and you feel like you're not doing enough, don't forget to have balance in your life. Don't forget to let yourself enjoy, and, you know, not escaping things, but healthy coping strategies. Start developing these. Start getting yourself in nature. Get a freaking dog and go walk them. Have a bath. There's nothing wrong with having these self-care things. They're really important. Life's a long-ass journey. It ain't no sprint. It's a marathon. And, you know, people always say, oh, it goes so fast. Maybe if you do the same exact thing every freaking day and, you know, nothing ever changes, yeah, I can imagine you look back and life feels like a blur. But, you know, if I look back over the last 10 years, I've had 7 different relationships, so many different careers. I worked as asbestos removals. I did offices. I've traveled around the world. You know, I've moved a lot. I've seen different things. I've done different things. I've had dogs and their whole lifetime with them. I've seen them grow and getting older now. I've made loads of friends. You know, it's life's a really long journey when you look back. And if I'm sprinting that entire journey, you won't make it to the end. Your body's gonna give up before you do. And that sounds really sexy of like, yeah, I kept going until I died, but balance. Try and find balance. That's my advice for the day for you guys. Have a wonderful one.